We protect what we love, even if what we love is killing us. What if the reason you don't feel as confident as you would like is because you're actually still protecting some pain that broke you in the first place? That voice telling you that you're not good enough. Did you know that it was actually programmed in you from a long time ago? Today, we're diving into how our past experiences, both positive and negative, have shaped what we believe about ourselves and how we interact with those around us. So grab a cup of coffee, cozy up, and come on in. You belong here. Hello, friend. Welcome back to the show. I hope you're having a great day. Today, we're going to talk about confidence and how real, true confidence is something that starts from deep within us. I could make a video that's like, hey, I can show you how to be confident in 5 minutes. But is that a real lasting effect? I think sometimes we play the game, fake it till you make it. And we can put on a mask, if you will. We can put on this air about us of confidence and go into that boardroom meeting or go into that relationship conversation and stand tall and be proud and be confident and sure of who we are in that moment. But when we walk away from that moment, does it still last? Or do we feel exhausted of like, man, that was like a lot of work and I'm not so sure how that all works and I don't know how I'm going to move forward from this. So what I want to share with you today is how real true confidence is rooted in what we believe. And it's a belief system. And in order to gain real true confidence that goes beyond the board meeting, goes beyond the relationship conversation, something that you can carry with you 24/7 nonstop, it starts with some core foundational roots. So today we're going to be talking about how those roots were formed and how they shape how we believe and what we think and how we interact with those around us. Did you know that everything you believe about yourself and the world around you was actually planted in you from ages birth to about 5 or 6 years old? There was a study done by Rao that shows that most of our memories from as early as age 2 have shaped how we believe about ourselves, what we think about ourselves, and how we see the world around us. Every interaction we've had in life since the time we were small has either reinforced or challenged those foundational beliefs. Let me give you an example. Say you're in the grocery store and someone makes a snide comment or looks at you funny or who knows, like somehow or another you have an interaction with someone and you're walking away from that interaction thinking, man, why do they hate me so much? What did I do? Or say a positive one. I remember going into the grocery store. It's been a few years ago, but my oldest son, who is now 28 years old, he was in high school at the time, and the girl who was checking our groceries out, she was like, "Do I have algebra class with you?" Now, granted, this was a while back. However, I was wearing the high school hoodie representing my son's school, and we were in the grocery store aisle, and I have been blessed with, some genes that have made me look a little younger than I normally am. And this was probably 10 years ago. But she was like, "Do we have algebra class together?" And I was sitting there thinking, man, you have really made my day. Talk about making me feel good. So that reinforced my belief that I don't necessarily look my age. And, well, that little gap has been closing in every year that passes. But I didn't look my age 10 years ago. And so it was like, man, that really made me feel good. And that reinforced my belief system. Likewise, I've had some negative interactions with people where it reinforced the belief that I'm not good enough. I didn't meet this person's expectations. And so I'm walking around with, man, I've really got to get my act together. I'm not good enough. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad driver. I'm a bad mother. All these things like they just reinforce these negative beliefs that were already rooted in me. If the beliefs aren't rooted in you and someone says to you something that's contrary to what you believe, then you don't really pay it that much of attention. For instance, if I told you the sky was green, you would probably look at me like I'm crazy because everyone knows the sky isn't green. Everyone knows the sky is blue. Now, there are times when the sun is setting or rising that it can have a little purple hue to it or even an orange glow in the evening. But the sky is blue, and everybody knows that, right? But if someone came to me and said, no, the sky is green, you're a lunatic. If I had doubts about my belief system and what the sky looked like and the color of the sky, I might walk away from that interaction second guessing myself, thinking, am I a lunatic? Am I crazy? Like, is the sky really green? No, but I can stand in confidence that, no, you're the lunatic. There's something wrong with you because the sky is blue and everybody knows that. This is where true core foundational confidence comes from. It is being rooted in a belief system of who we are and our value and worth. I love this quote from Jacques Cousteau that says, we protect what we love. Now, if you're a parent, you totally can relate to that. You're going to protect your little ones. You're going to protect your babies. You love them. You would die for them. You might even would kill for them. Like, you're going to protect them, right? We also have a tendency to protect the things that we love. Now, this is a challenging statement because you're probably thinking, well, of course I'm going to protect my kids. Of course I'm going to protect the ones I love. But you're talking about protecting negative things, Rebecca. Like, I don't protect negative things. Let me challenge you for a second. Do you? Because, see, there's familiarity in our negativity. There's familiarity in the belief systems that we have. If I have the belief system that I'm not good enough, and I don't want to face that, if I don't want to face the belief system that I have, then I'm going to avoid it. Remember, we talked about avoidance. I'm going to demand that those around me comply to my belief system that I'm not good enough, meaning I'm going to expect them to constantly feed into me and tell me that I'm going to be good enough. I'm going to expect them to constantly reaffirm my value, and I'm going to need that reaffirmation all the time because I truly don't believe that I am. I truly don't believe that I'm good enough or that I am enough or that I'm the right person or that I can do this or that or the other. I'm going to feel inadequate. And as long as I continually believe that I feel inadequate and I'm not willing to face that belief system and then do what it takes to change that belief system, then I'm going to protect it. I'm protecting my belief system, whatever that is, whatever your statement is. I'm sure you probably have one. I'm going to protect it in expecting everyone else around me to change the way they live, to change the way they interact with me in order to reaffirm my worth. If I don't believe I'm good enough, I need everyone around me to reaffirm that I am. But if I believe that I'm good enough, then it doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they say. They could tell me the sky is green, and I'm going to look at them as if they're the lunatic because I know it's blue. Hello, friend. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Hey, listen, if you're getting value out of the content I'm sharing, why don't you make sure you go and subscribe, share it, like it, and make sure you click that little bell icon so that you get notified every time an episode is uploaded. Thank you so much for your support, and now back to the show. We are afraid of facing those realities and those truths because we're afraid of the pain. We're afraid to look at ourselves. Remember our last episode, we talked about, are you afraid to look in the mirror? Are you afraid to turn on the light? If you turn on the light, are you afraid of what you might see? We're just compounding on that, building a more solid foundation on that concept that we have to overcome the fear of looking. We have to overcome the fear of facing some truths that we are believing about ourselves, truths that we're believing about others, and ultimately truths that we're believing about God. When reality is, they're lies. We're believing lies about ourselves. We're believing lies about others, and we're believing lies about God. Now, that is going to fly in the face of a lot of people, and I understand that. I can tell you when I was first confronted with this hardcore foundational truth, I rejected it. I was like, you can't tell me that I'm believing lies about God because God is ABC. I'm not believing anything outside of that. But our belief system shapes how we live. Our belief system shapes how we walk this life out. If I'm believing lies, it's going to shape how I interact with you, with myself, and in my relationship with my Father. Another reason why we stay stuck is because we've become really good at it. We've become adapted to it. It's become familiar. We've learned how to survive in this status. We've learned how to interact with people and life, and we've adapted. We've adapted to, say you have an injury in your leg, right? You learn how to, say you got an ache in your knee. Let's be a little bit more specific. Say you got some arthritis or an ache in your knee. Well, you're going to start favoring that knee, right? Because it hurts. It hurts to put too much pressure on it or to bend it a certain way or to sit a certain way. And so we learn to kind of compensate for it. Then we learn how to walk so that it's not painful. What's happening is our gait has changed. The way we walk and our stride has changed because we're favoring that pain. We don't want to feel the pain, so we adapt the way we walk in order to not feel that pain. Then before you know it, that has become our natural gait. And to train our body to walk in any other way, all of a sudden takes a lot of work. It takes physical therapy. It takes doing things differently. But before anything, it takes admitting that there's something there. It takes looking in the mirror and realizing that, oh, I have adapted to walking unnaturally to compensate for the pain that I'm feeling. Once we admit it and we start to look at it, then we can get to some core foundational things that will reshape the way we walk. And we can start retraining our walk. We can start retraining our body. Now, there's a paradox to being aware. When we are aware of our pain, a lot of times we don't know what to do with it. Like, okay, I'm aware that I have pain, but I don't know how to fix it. And then some people are completely oblivious to it. Like, no, I don't really have any pain. And then you ask them, well, what about this situation? Oh, well, I've just learned how to avoid that situation because it's just too tough. Here we go. There's avoidance and the situation's too tough. There's a thing there. There's something there. And sometimes we may try to fix it ourselves and we end up making things worse. If you've got an injury in your knee or you've got arthritis or whatever, you've got pain in your knee and you've learned how to adjust your gait and your stride and your walk in order to avoid experiencing that pain, you could start doing some physical therapy for yourself on your own. But if you don't know what you're doing, you could actually create an additional injury. And that's why if we want to fix those things, we usually go to a doctor or a physical therapist or an orthopedic. And so we seek out help to get to the root, to get to the core again of, okay, let me retrain my gait. Let me retrain my body, how to walk naturally and not compensate for the pain that I'm feeling. Let me get to the root of what is actually causing the pain. Is it arthritis or is it an old injury that's just needed to heal? Or is it whatever? I slept wrong. It could be all kinds of things that has caused the pain to happen. And depending on how it was caused also will shape the way you get to it and the way you go through the healing process. Now, as far as relationships go, there may be something broken or some pain in a relationship, and we try to go fix it, and then it blows up in our face. How many times have you tried to have a conversation with someone about something that was really important, and then it just became explosive? That can shake your confidence. It can shake your confidence in yourself. It can shake your confidence in your relationship. I can guarantee you don't walk away from that situation feeling, man, I've got it all together. No, you walk away from that conversation. You walk away from that situation really like, man, where did I mess up? Like, this was supposed to go so different. This was supposed to be a good conversation, and it just blew up. So taking all this stuff into consideration, how do we fix it? How do we break free? How do we gain more real, true confidence? I've got some things for you to work on. Today, we're just digging into the first layer of breaking free from some pain that's keeping us from feeling confidence. Now, I have like a whole series about how to gain confidence because, like I said at the beginning, I could give you a 10-minute of, hey, here's how you walk into this room and you own the room and you have all this confidence in the world. But does it last? I'm going to show you, and we're going to start digging into how do you have confidence that lasts so that no matter what room you walk in, you don't have to gear yourself up for it. You're already there because you know who you are. You know whose you are, and you know that you can walk in there and it doesn't matter what's going on, you're still secure. Now, let me give you some questions for you to either journal or you can answer them in the comments below, and we can have a conversation. But these are some thought-provoking questions for you to examine for yourself this week. Number 1, identify an encounter. Recall either a recent or a past encounter that left you feeling hurt or angry or questioning your worth. It doesn't even have to be a dramatic situation. It could be someone looked at you funny at the grocery store. It doesn't matter. What is a very simple situation that made you start questioning your value? What happened in the situation, and what was the primary negative message that you told yourself? Maybe you walked away from that encounter thinking, man, I'm stupid, or just, I'm not good enough, or, oh, I'm a nuisance, I guess. What was the negative statement you walked away feeling? Trace the thread. Can you identify a feeling from your childhood or maybe even your teenage years when you remember that was the first time you ever felt that way or had those thoughts about yourself? And then examine the protection mode. In what ways have you been protecting a negative belief about yourself? Do you avoid certain situations? Do you preemptively criticize yourself before others have an opportunity to? Maybe you preemptively start a conversation with, I know that my opinion doesn't matter a whole lot, but you are self-depreciating yourself there. You are preemptively criticizing yourself in that situation. How many times have you had those kinds of conversations? And then how has this protection actually held you back? Has it kept you more timid? Has it kept you more shy? Has it kept you more reserved into avoiding conversations again? Explore those examples. And then we must have a desire for healing. We have to want it. We have to want to be broke free from the things that are holding us back from a real, true, rooted confidence. I want you to then describe what it would be like if you really, truly believed deep in your soul that you were actually worthy, capable, and loved. What would that look like? What would your relationships look like? How would your day-to-day life change? Would you change your career? Would you go after a dream? Would you get married? Would you have children? What would that look like if you really, truly believed it about yourself and you were totally free from anything that was holding you back and you had the confidence that, I'm going to go after this situation in my life, and I know I'm going to be successful at it. What would you do? What would your life look like in that picture? Take some time and write that down. Now, I know that was a lot to consider. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the questions down below in the description box. And I'm also going to give you some scripture references so that you can meditate on what God's word says about you. Today, we're talking about breaking the confidence code, like it's a codex. And you ever seen those codex things where you have to match up everything so that then it unlocks? It's like a puzzle box or something. Today, we are starting the first layer of breaking that codex of the confidence code. And the confidence code isn't about being perfect. It's not about perfection. And it's also not about ever experiencing pain. Just because I walk in a confident manner doesn't mean that I am pain-free. Doesn't mean that people don't hurt me. But I can walk in a way that when people do hurt me, it doesn't shatter me as far as my value and worth. It doesn't make me walk away from the interaction thinking, man, I'm just not good enough for their love. I'm actually walking away from those situations a lot of times feeling very sad for the other person. And I know that sounds probably a little arrogant, but true, deep-rooted, strong confidence can come off as arrogance to those who aren't familiar with it or who haven't been around it much. If your circle of friends is only people who are very low in confidence or second-guessing themselves, or they're living in their lies, for you to be confident, first of all, it's going to be intimidating to people. They're going to be intimidated by you. And because of that intimidation, it's going to reinforce the lies that they're believing about themselves and the lies that they're believing about the world around them. And that intimidation can actually come off as like they might think you're arrogant. I can't tell you how many times I have actually been told to my face, man, you are intimidating. I've also been told, you're just If I wasn't rooted in the truth of who I was, that would have shook me pretty hard. I don't want to come off as intimidating. I don't want to come off as scary. I certainly don't want to come off as a blank. But to someone who is super insecure, and they're not around people who are secure, they're not around people who are confident, that is how it can seem sometimes. I'm not going to let their insecurity affect my identity. And that is what I want for you. Friend, I want you to be broke free from the insecurity you're holding on to, whether that is because you're protecting pain or you're afraid to look at it. Friend, I want you to be able to walk in the kind of confidence that no matter what someone says to you or what someone does to you, that you can walk away from that and you are still secure in your identity. And instead of feeling like you're less than, you actually feel sad for the other person. And I'm not talking about feeling sad as far as like, oh, poor pitiful them. Of like, nah, man, my heart breaks for you. My heart breaks that you are in your own bondage of insecurity. And I would love to see you broke free. And whether that means you're going to pray for them or you're just going to be sweeter and kinder to them, but still maintain your identity and still maintain truth, you can still love them without compromising yourself. Our worth is not determined by others' actions or our past wounds. True confidence comes from not only knowing who we are, but whose we are. Friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you're getting value out of these types of content, please make sure you like and subscribe and share it with a friend. Also, don't forget to ring that bell so that you get notified every time a video gets uploaded. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.